Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video today is a video that I've been meaning to make for quite some time now. And it's gonna be a long one. So get you a snack, get you something to drink, and let's get into this video. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are new. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below if you've been through what I'm about to tell you or had similar experiences. It's raining. Anyways, so IUI number 2. And if you could tell by the title, you're like, what do you mean IUI turned ICI? So let me explain. So if you guys have been following my story already, you know that IUI number 1 was unsuccessful. So immediately after IUI number 1, we decided to proceed with IUI number 2. So when my cycle started, it was heavier than normal. I also had blood clots, which I generally don't get unless I drink something really cold on days 1 and 2, because cycle day 1 is normally when I get my heaviest bleed, and then the rest of the days are pretty much normal. So I dealt with some blood clots, and I mean they had to be like at least like this size. Like it was ridiculous, maybe even a little bigger. So that was that. I took letrozole cycle day 3 through 5. I went in for my cycle day 12 scan, and my follicles were looking good. I have 4. 2 of them were, one was at a 21, one was at a 19, and the other 2 were at 14. So I was instructed to make sure that I'm testing for my ovulation. Sorry if I look away, I'm cooking. So, but this was the perfect time to do this video. So anyways, so I was instructed to make sure that I continue to test for ovulation because I probably would be getting my surge at any moment now. So this was done on a Friday. Our doctors closed at 12 on Friday. So we were instructed that if by Saturday 2 p.m. if I hadn't got my positive OPK, then we would do our trigger shot at 3 a.m. and then on that Sunday we would have our IUI. But if I got my positive OPK that Saturday before 2, then we would go ahead and trigger and then come in. No, I'm sorry. If I got it after 2 p.m. on Saturday, then we would trigger Sunday morning at 3 a.m. for a Monday IUI. But if we got it Saturday before, then we would do a IUI on Sunday. So I was testing, and the crazy thing is I've tested OPKs several times, but for whatever reason, like when I was looking at it, I was reading it incorrectly. So I hit my best friend up and I'm like, listen, I don't know if I'm going crazy, like tell me if this is positive, because I think I'm reading it backwards. So she's like, girl, that thing blazing, like you need to get on the phone, call these people and tell them what's going on. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I called the emergency line and I leave a message. So then I get a nurse, they call me back and they're like, they tell me, okay, we're going to get in contact with a different nurse, because then that nurse can tell them what they need to inform me to do. So I'm like, okay, cool, because I have to go to work today. So if I have to do the trigger, I need to know so that I can take the trigger shot out of the refrigerator, because you have to keep it refrigerated. So that way it's room temperature when I have to administer it to myself, because my wife was at work, so I had to do my trigger shot myself. So I finally got in contact with somebody after maybe like 20-30 minutes, and I was instructed to go ahead and trigger. So I actually have video of me doing the trigger and all that, but for whatever reason I can't get it to upload from my phone to my computer. So I was just like, bump that, I'm gonna just have to tell you guys about my experience without any extra footage. I got my, at this time my friend came to pick me up for work, So I actually ended up doing the trigger shot in the car, which was so crazy because honestly, we weren't really trying to tell anyone because it gets hard telling people, hey, you know, you're trying, and then when it's unsuccessful and they're asking, it becomes emotionally too much sometimes for me. So I just try to keep it very low key, very minimum on who I am telling. So anyways, so I get picked up. I now know that I need to trigger, so I go, I get everything ready, and y'all already know that I don't like needles, so for me to have to trigger myself, it's just very crazy. So I go in the car, rewrite it, and I'm like, okay, I need to tell her what I'm about to do so she don't look at me crazy like, girl, what are you doing? So I inform her, I'm like, hey, this is what I gotta do, yada da da da. So she's like, okay, cool, no problem. So get to work and I do the trigger shot. And while I'm giving myself the trigger, like some of it, like I guess I was nervous, so I squirt some of it out, not a lot but enough to notice, and then I administered the rest, and then it's like a drop left in it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I'm like, okay, whatever, still think positive, like you got majority of it in your system, so you should be good, you should be Gucci. So I go to work, I didn't have any pains, anything like that. Went to work, did what I had to do, and then the next day, IUI day. So this is where it gets crazy. So I go in and everything is good. I'm drinking my water, and my bladder was kind of like half full or whatever. So I get in, talk to my nurse, and she was like, all right, you know, you do the normal, get undressed from the waist down, and you lay on the table, and they come in and they tell you what they got to tell you. You do all that, you make sure you sign that, make sure the donor specimen is yours, and yada yada yada. So we do all of that, and we proceed to get into the procedure. So at first, you know, she's looking around and she's like, okay, I remember last time we had a little bit of issue with your cervix, but we didn't have too much problems. So hopefully, you know, it's not an issue this time. So I'm like, okay, stay positive. So we get into the process, and she is got me prepped up and ready to go. So now we get into what now she needs to insert the syringe into my cervix. So my cervix, if you guys have been following me, you already know. But for those of you that are new, my cervix is dipped. So it's kind of like this, if that makes sense. So it's dipped, so they need to get the syringe around that dip to go back up to get to my uterus, right? So I want to say we got to our doctor's office, our clinic at, let's say 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. So the first attempt we made, it took 10-15 minutes. Then my bladder became really full. No, she asked me to drink more water. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then I sat for a little bit, and then we proceeded to do this thing again. So, pause. Needed something for my meat to go in. Anyway, so I drink my water, we go back into this. So she's still having problems with getting my cervix, that catheter underneath that dip. So I'm like, okay, she's gonna get it. I'm not stressing this. It's gonna be good. I'm leaving it in God's hand. You know, I'm still staying positive. So then she was like, okay, it's not going through with this catheter. Let me try a different catheter. So I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. So she goes to get the different catheter to see if it's more flexible to get it to do what she needs to do. So no, it doesn't do what she needed to do. And at this time, now my bladder is like really full, and I'm like, okay sis, I'm about to pee and I don't want to pee on you, so I need to go to the bathroom. Like my bladder is done. So she's like, go to the bathroom, pee a little bit, but not too much. I don't know who, and it could just be me, but I don't know who is able, or anyone that's able to only pee a little bit when your bladder is like full, and she's just a little bit, just to give you a little relief. I don't work like that. So I was like, I pee more than what I was supposed to, so I gotta drink more water. So I drink more water, we sit a little bit more, and we try this again. So now she's gotten a different catheter, right? And she's like, okay, let's try this again. So we proceed again. And I'm like, okay, cool. Here we go. So I'm sitting there, she's trying, it's not going. So I started to get a little weary, but still trying to keep the positivity going. So she's like, okay, let me go try another catheter. And then if it doesn't work, I'm gonna call in another nurse who's normally able to handle difficult cervix a little bit better than me. So I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. So she tries another catheter. You know, we try in 10-15 minutes. Now mind you, we got there at 11. By this time it's like 12:30, 12:45. So that catheter is not working. So boom, now she has to call the other nurse. Mind you, this is a Sunday. This nurse goes to church. So instead of her going to church, she came to the clinic to assist, which I am forever grateful to her, because this clinic really shows like they really want to help you get pregnant. Like, because most people be like, well, I already have plans, I can't. You just have to do what you can and go from there. So she ended up coming, the second nurse ended up coming to church, to the clinic, and she's like, okay, let's try this catheter. So they swap roles. So now the first nurse, who was essentially doing my IUI, is now doing the holding up the ultrasound over my belly, and the second nurse, she is now doing the IUI. So she's tried we're now on our 5th catheter. So she's trying a catheter. She's trying to do it like they do when it comes to IVF. So she, you know, they're doing all type of stuff. And at this time, my bladder is getting like fuller and fuller again. So at this time, like they had me to sit on my hands. So I was sitting on my fist like this underneath my bum or my butt, or however you want to call it, my hiney. And then my hands started to get numb, but I'm like, I'm trying to keep my strength, because you know, I'm thinking about the end result, the end goal. Like, okay, do whatever you have to do so that you can get the end goal for you and your wife. So I'm just thinking about that. The end goal is to get a baby. The end goal is to create a family. That's the end goal. Not this pain that you're going through right now. Not this pain you're feeling. This whatever your body is going through. So it got so bad, my body started to tense up, because now I really have to pee. I'm really trying to focus, but sorry. I'm really trying to pee. I'm really trying to focus on staying positive, but my body is tensing up. It's like I'm having spasms. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I really have to pee. So she's like, just bear with us. Mind you, now it's going on, maybe it's an hour later, so maybe like 1:30, 1:45 now. Mind you, or yeah, remember we got there at 11. So now I'm sitting there, I'm trying to hold it, now I'm shaking because now I have to pee so bad. So then they get the last catheter, which is the one that they use for IVF. It's like the very smallest, most flexible syringe that they could use. So I'm like, Lord, please let this work. Lord, please let this work, because my body just can't take anymore. Like at this point in time, like I'm almost in tears because I'm in so much pain. So, but I'm like, the end goal. So around 2:05, 2:10, she's still trying, and she's like, okay, the only thing I can tell you is we can either keep trying, or we have to make this an ICI and get it as near as possible to your cervix, but that means you'll have to lay on this table for 10 more minutes so that we can give you the best chance possible. At this time, my bladder is on fire because I have to pee so bad. So I'm shaking. So I'm like, my body has tensed up so bad that now I'm just like, you know what? Let's just do the ICI because I don't think I can take anymore. So she's like, you sure? And I'm like, yes, I am sure because I just can't take this anymore. Like, I don't know. All the videos that I've watched on YouTube, I have yet to ever come across someone who went through the experience that I went through. And maybe they have and they just didn't tell me, but it was a lot for my body. And so we did the ICI and she's like, okay, you're gonna have to stay here for 10 minutes. Like, I need you to lay on this table for 10 minutes. And I'm shaking so bad. Like, at this moment, like, I hear her, but I don't hear her. So I'm shaking, I'm trying to focus, and I'm like, babes, please put a timer, put a timer, put a timer. But I think she was so concerned for me. She didn't really hear what I was saying. So I would be like, I think after 2 minutes of laying there, after they had left, I asked her, I'm like, babes, has it been 10 minutes? Has it been 10 minutes? I kept asking, has it been 10 minutes? Has it been 10 minutes? I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta get up. I was in so much pain, I could barely move. Like, you ever had to pee so bad that your stomach cramp up on top of having muscle spasms? Like, that is not a pretty feeling. It just was horrible. So she's like, babes, just try to lay there, just try to lay there, just hold on, you got a few more minutes, you got a few more minutes. I think, guys, I laid on that table for 7 minutes and I had to get up to pee. I was in so much pain, I could barely get up to pee. My wife had to pull me up, literally pull me up, in order for me to get to the restroom. I was 2 seconds from peeing all over those people's floor. And I'll tell you everything that I went through because I started this channel to be authentic, to be my authentic self when it came to this journey. I didn't want to sugarcoat anything. I didn't want to make it look all pretty. Oh, you know, we struggle, but now we have our baby. I didn't want to do that. I wanted people to know exactly what we went through and I struggled to create our family. And it was so bad. I was standing, because I don't sit on public toilets. So, but I stood over that toilet, seems like, for 10 minutes, just peeing, urinating, however you want to jazz it up. But I stood there for 10 minutes and I had relief for like 15 minutes because then we left and I was, as I'm using the restroom, like tears are just shedding, like they're just coming down. And if you know me personally, you know I'm not huge on crying. Like I don't really show emotion. And to go through that was a lot. So as I'm peeing, I'm crying, I'm boohooing crying, and my wife is like, babes, it's all right, it's all right. And I'm like, it's not all right. Like, I needed to lay there 10 minutes because we didn't get it into my cervix. So now it's ICI, basically what we were doing at home. And I needed to lay there for a certain amount of time to give us the best chances. And I didn't give us that. So I felt bad because I just couldn't, I couldn't hold it. Like, I just couldn't. So, ooh, making me a little emotional, but so we leave after I've had my moment in the bathroom, or I think I've had my moment in the bathroom. So we leave and we get in the car and she's like, babes, it's gonna be all right. And I'm like, this cycle is done. We're not gonna get pregnant. And I'm so upset at myself, and I was just being so hard on myself because I just felt like my body failed me. And 10 minutes into our ride, I needed to use the restroom again. Like, I hadn't used the restroom 15 minutes ago. And it was so bad, it was so urgent, and I was like, babes, it was so bad, I told her to pull over on the side of the road so I could just use the restroom. on, like in the open, I didn't care. That's how bad, because my bladder had gotten so full again that I needed to use the restroom. And if I didn't get to a restroom in the time that she got me there, I probably would have went on myself. Like, it was so bad when I got to a restroom, I was bent over in so much pain trying to get to the restroom. I wouldn't wish this experience on my worst enemy. Like, it just was horrible. And I cried again inside the people's restroom. It just was bad. Like, it was horrible. So when I got home, I laid on the couch. My wife got me my heated blanket, and she just put on my show and got me some food and just, you know, make sure I was okay and everything. And the 2-week wait, I was like, I'm not gonna test. For what? It's negative. I already know, because I didn't do what I needed to do. And if that was a test from God, I failed. Like, there was no doubt in my mind that I failed. And I just was like, I just got to come to terms with this. So I was like, I'm just not going to test. And then it was cycle day 14. And I hadn't got my cycle, which was weird, because it was like, okay, the previous cycle and other times when we've tried, my cycle has always come on earlier. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I didn't fail. Maybe God heard my cries and he answered my prayers. You know, maybe he knew this is what I needed to go through to appreciate the journey, you know. So I decided to test. And again, I have footage of all of this stuff, but because for whatever reason I can't get it from my phone to my computer, I don't have this footage for you guys. So I'll tell you. The end results of that cycle was negative. Womp womp womp. It was unsuccessful. IUI turned ICI was unsuccessful. And I wasn't devastated, because I had already made up in my mind that it was negative. So I felt like I needed a break. So I sat down and talked to my wife and explained my feelings, because, you know, even though she is not going through it with her body, she still has her own feelings that she feels about it and that she has to process, and then we process together. She still had to deal with her feelings, so I didn't want to bombard her with all of my emotions at one time. So when I was able to talk to her about it in not an emotional state, I just told her I needed a break. So we have taken a break, and being that this is the new year, so our insurance and everything starts all over. So we don't necessarily have to start from the beginning, but I will be making a call to my nurse next month for us to start our journey again. It took me a minute to get here because it was just a lot. I didn't want to put myself through that. I was just like, sorry about that guys, my camera cut off, but I was just like, screw that, let's go straight to reciprocal IVF, and that be that. So we are going to start our journey back up again next month. I'm going to do my best to keep you guys as up to date as possible, instead of after something happens then you guys know. I'll do my best to get you guys videos, because that's one of my goals for the year, to be better on my channel. So fingers crossed. So yeah, that was IUI number 2/ICI, or turned ICI. If you guys ever experience anything like this or similar to this, or the exact same thing, let me know how you dealt with it, and if it was successful. If it wasn't a successful cycle, let me know down in the comments below, or if you could just relate to anything that that I talked about today, just in your TTC journey alone or life, you know, just let me know down in the comments below. We can get a conversation going. If you like my video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if again you are new to my channel, please go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button. To everyone that's been rocking with me since the beginning, thank you for coming back to my channel. I truly appreciate all the love and support. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace and blessings.